This video is sponsored by Bass Pro. Just kidding. Could you imagine? Upside is the sponsor. Do you guys remember how pumped everyone was on the Chipotle secret menu? Ooh. I remember because I worked there at the time, and I can tell you there's no secret menu. You ever notice how you paid full price for that burrito and that quesadilla for them to roll your burrito in a quesadilla? Fact is, if you caught somebody in a good mood and there was no one in line, they'll do weird stuff with your food if you ask them to sometimes. Secret menu's not real, okay? Sorry to burst your bubble. That being said, did you know Bass Pro has a secret menu? Guys, if you pay full price for a takedown recurve bow and 2 King Rat slingshots, and a bunch of hardware from Home Depot, you can create the sleekest little pseudo-trad sling bow that speed-wise is within striking distance of the original bow, but is 1/3 the size, making it quite possibly the ultimate bow fishing rig. Never miss a shot again because you're bumping into stuff. Miss shots because you're bad. On a serious note, there was an idea that I thought was cool, and it ended up being pretty cool. That is the only justification for this abomination. All this and more on today's ZNA production. Here you go. Hope you guys like it. Guys, I am going bow fishing at the end of the month. It's my first time ever. I'm going a couple states over though, so that means a lot of gas money and a lot of gas station jerky, which is why I'm so excited to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Upside. Upside is a straight up easy way to earn cash back on the essentials. We're talking gas, groceries, dining out, just all the stuff you spend a lot more on during the summer. Personally, we're about to host my mom's not graduation party, my mom's retirement party. My mom does not go to college. Buying food for like 80 people, it's gonna be a lot. My wife and I are very excited to be able to earn some of that back with Upside. In fact, the top earners on Upside are making about 300 bucks a month. And I'm talking about actual cash, not freaking Upside coins, redeemable at any Weenie Hut Jr. No, actual money you can transfer to your bank account, for real. It's a totally free app. If you wanna check it out, go ahead and scan that QR code right there or check the pinned comment. Use code ZNA and you're gonna get an extra 25 cents off every gallon of the first tank of gas that you get. I think I said that right. Thank you very much, Upside, for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to it. Alrighty, to determine if this mod is actually worth it at all, I do have to test this with the Crony, just as it is. Now, I'm not just trying to cover my bases here and explain away any poor performance, but I'm gonna say it right now. If this mod ends up being a little bit slower, you do have to take into account that the overall thing is gonna be like 1/3 the size of the bow as it is right now. So there would still be an argument to be made there for its utility. If it way underperforms, it doesn't really, like if it's not even usable, it doesn't really matter that it's smaller. Now, if it overperforms and it's 1/3 the size, now we're onto something. But let's not get way too ahead of ourselves. The guy there warned me that I can't just string this over my leg. I'm gonna need a recurve stringer. I'm like, nah, I got one, it's fine. Bow actually came with a bowstring. Seems like a pretty nice one too. Ah, real pretty. I'm assuming the section with more serving goes lower. Oh, wowie. This looks so cool. Oh, there we go. Yeah. What in the world? How small is this bowstring? That is not right, is it? Why is that so high? That doesn't look right. It was completely normal. I just know literally nothing about real bows. Feels okay. That just does not look right, but I literally know nothing, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. Working on your own projects? Ah, dang, you got the pro equipment, huh? Show me its features. Wow. Looks good. All right. 174, hey, pretty stinking good. 181. That matches the Theraband black. It's not looking good for those little yellow bands. Dang, it's not looking good for those bands, I'll tell you. This is a very nice bow. I definitely want to make sure that I don't actually damage anything on it while I'm doing the mod. It's all going to be like pieces that I'm adding to it. 199. Holy smokes. So for those last couple of shots, I was way overdrawing, just trying to get the max speed. I was like pulling behind my head basically. I would never pull back that far if I was actually shooting. Those first few shots are like the realistic draw. Alrighty, let's see what we're working with here. Never taken one of these apart. Wow. Really nice and easy. Ooh, that's steel, huh? It was just cold when I touched it. It's plastic. Probably aluminum, actually. It'll be really nice for making a bracket that fits in there. And actually, if I like this sling bow enough, I might just hang on to these limbs and maybe make a crossbow out of them. That would be pretty cool. All right, now we're gonna crack these open. These were the cheapest and the littlest of the King Rat slingshots. I never actually got one of these ones. I got that Black Widow and I believe it's called the Havoc Hunter. Okay, yeah, can work with that. I wonder what the actual draw weight is. 25? Wow, 24. That's actually pretty heavy. I mean, 2 of them, of course, that's gonna be a 50-pound bow. Call me intrigued. I've never shot one of these before, actually. These pouches are huge. That should be a little better. 184. 184 on a tiny clay ball. This does not bode well. 189. Yikey shnikes. All right, big bad overdraw. Duplicate. This is bad. 191, okay. There we go. 197. Present time. Open the present, see what's inside. It just looks like a smaller slingshot. You could wrap this up with paracord. Have a nice little nose buster there. I'll save this, I guess. The screw is a little bit too big, but I'm bigger. Don't tell me it's this easy. Could use a big washer or something. Is it gonna be that easy? That's awesome. Interesting. So this is unexpected. When I pinch both bands, no, let me flip it. They don't end up right above the shelf. I would have expected them to. I totally would have thought that the shelf would be right in the middle, but it's not. The middle is like on the webbing of your hand, so that, you know, the weight is going straight into your palm. How strange. I would not have seen that coming. I'm still getting a kick out of this. This is so funny looking. It's so funny looking, but it's so cool at the same time. It does just draw like a dream. This is like, this is like a real bow. It's pretty nice. It's gonna be slow as heck with these yellow tubes, but I got some plans, don't you worry. Okay, now I'm gonna cut all the bands at 7 inches. The way they get these bands on is really interesting. I'll take it apart to show you how. Look at that. Got that hole right there. Spray a little alcohol on this. Reach through, grab the end real tight. Pull it through. And that creates a loop. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? I think it is. That is actually also how we're gonna attach the paracord. So it better be interesting because we're about to do it a bunch. Hey, you know what I just discovered right now? These are not aluminum, these are plastic. Look at that dent, boy. This might be a little too extra for most of your tastes, but I've got these couple of sheets of neoprene. So I'm gonna make a protective little thingy goes in there. All right, 1 inch and 9/16, or as I like to call it, 1.5 inches and a 16th, and 2 7/8. It was meant to be. This build just seems like it's meant to be. Everything's just been like good. All right, I epically did not hit record, but I placed the fork upside down like this so that I know the same side of the tubes are facing the same direction. And I marked each tube at 3/4 right on the top, or I guess the bottom. All right, now I really hope this is gonna work. Good old denatured alcohol as a lubricant. Spray it on the hole puncher. This is a leather hole puncher. I'm gonna insert it into the tube. I'm gonna try to punch out. I don't think I'm getting 3/4. You know what? Close is good. It's really good. What do they say? Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I never understood that until this exact moment. All right, so obviously I don't have access to the ends of each of these tubes to reach through the hole and pull it through. I guess technically I could pass the whole entire thing through the hole. I don't really feel like doing that. So I took a little bit of time and I reverse engineered one of these knots, and I figured out how to do it if you only have access to one end. So guys, always, always, always denatured alcohol. It makes just everything moves so much better. And I'm gonna show you on this black tube because I feel like you just have more contrast than with the yellow tube. So denatured alcohol, reach in towards the short end, grab the edge of it, pull it through. So now you have this nice flipped tube like this. More alcohol, don't be shy, and reach through the top. Reach through that flipped little section of tube, and you grab the main body of the tube and you pull that through. And there you go. You can reach through there, kind of space it out a little bit, but that's your loop. We're gonna leave these kind of loose because at a certain point in the build, when we're getting the bowstring on there, we're gonna be passing paracord through it. I'm gonna spray it down. You can pull that and it just slides up nice and tight. You got that? All right, now that I showed you, I'm just gonna do it. I don't wanna explain it again. Now for the bowstring, we're using paracord from Bass Pro Shop, of course. This is a Bass Pro Shop secret menu item. Bass Pro Shop secret menu item. We're gonna cut 22 inches. It may not seem like it, but paracord is actually pretty abrasive, especially if you're trying to tie off bands with it. It's made out of a bunch of perpendicular threads, which are almost like serrations. Just about the perfect solution to this. Heat shrink tubing seems to be an absolute match made in heaven for paracord. You can make these absolutely beautiful little coated loops, and these are so much less abrasive than just regular paracord. It feels like I don't know, it feels like Teflon almost. It's like slippery. I got some 3/16 here. I find this is best for 550 paracord. So we're gonna cut 2 pieces of this stuff at 2.5 inches. Get yourself a little piece of pipe handy. This is some 3/8 black pipe. Not totally necessary, but we're gonna use this to make our loops super nice and smooth on the inside. You can just hand form this, but it's pretty hot. Slide on your heat shrink tubing. Get them both on. Resist the urge to use a lighter because the lighter will melt the paracord really quickly. Use a heat gun if at all possible. It's really the perfect tool for this job. Once you start seeing the texture of the paracord through the heat shrink tubing, that's when you know you're ready to form it. And this stuff stays warm pretty long, so you do have a pretty good long time to work with it. All right. Form it into a rough loop and then kind of cinch it around the pipe. Can you tell I've done this one time before? All right, got it good. Beautiful. Let's get the other one. But yeah, that's basically what we're gonna start with. Alrighty, now it's time to serve the bowstring with the thinnest serving I could find at Bass Pro. It's 0.014. Apparently there's a 0.007 somewhere out there. I don't think we need that. Here's the little makeshift serving jig I've been using for a little while now. Pass a rubber band through the loop, pull it tight. These screws are spaced 2 feet apart. All right, so this is the dead center of this whole entire thing, which means this is level with the webbing, which means that the rest of this here should cross over the shelf. So this is what I'm gonna serve. I don't know if this is even worth filming. I'm not close up enough. I don't really have a way to get the camera super close up. You know what? I'll post a link in the description of a video on how to actually serve a bowstring, the one that I learned from. Go ahead and learn how to actually serve a bowstring from that, but here is a cool little trick that I've learned with these rubber bands. Pass the serving around loosely as many times as I need to, usually about 20 times. And check this out. When I pull it, it winds up the rubber bands so I can actually serve under tension. The serving will end up a little bit irregular whenever you're serving paracord like this because the sleeve twists and turns. You can see those like bumps that pop up when you twist it, but I can assure you this is strong as frick. And if you finish it off on both sides the way that video is gonna show you to, you are not gonna have any issues with this unraveling. Click, click. There you go. I'm gonna clean up the tag ends. This thing's kind of awesome. You do need to use a D-loop on it because it's so short. It'll crush your fingers between the string and the arrow if you try to just do a finger draw. But I got to try to give this thing a shot. I'm going to do it really light because this is going to give some crazy hand slaps, but I don't want to wait. All right, really light one just to see if it goes. This is too funny that you could just do this. Guys, I like doing stuff that I like doing. I'd way much prefer it than doing stuff I don't want to do. Alrighty, here's my solution to the string stopper problem. Got these 5-inch long, 5/16 black carriage bolts from Home Depot. They sell these black ones now. It doesn't really matter if it's like corrosion resistant or whatever. I just think the black ones are going to match the look a little bit better. I also got some black washers, some aluminum tubing. Or I guess it's kind of pipe, huh? Stuff's like right in between tubing and pipe. It's 1/2 inch on the outside, I think 3/8 on the inside. But here's the important part. It fits really nicely into the riser. That 3/8 black pipe doesn't quite fit in there. And aluminum just because it was cheaper. And finally, some 3/16 flat bar. This is 3/4 inch wide. All right, so put one of the washers on your bolt. Get your mat in place. Definitely hang on to these. Put these in a safe spot. You don't want to lose those. All right, get your Slingshots back on. It's a little awkward getting it on there, but it's a real nice look once it's on. I'll use a little piece of something to measure how much of that aluminum tube I'm gonna have to cut. Oh, that's perfect. I knew I was gonna have to subtract 5/8 from whatever number I came out with here, and the number I came out with was 3 5/8. Meant to be, meant to be. I'm gonna cut 2 3-inch sections of the aluminum tube. All right, now this part is totally unnecessary unless you like things that look good. I'm gonna be coating both of these tubes in this heavy-duty heat shrink tubing. This is the kind that has that adhesive on the inside. It's really, really nice stuff. It is a little on the pricey side. 3 of these little 6-inch tubes is like $5. But guys, there's a price you gotta pay for aesthetics sometimes. Pause. Bro, I was just about to finish up these string stoppers when I gave it a little whip and I realized this is worse. This is even worse than no string stoppers. Just this little amount of stretch right here is still way more than enough to get the string to reach my hand. I've already been working on this thing way longer than I wanted to. I wanted this to be like a 2-day build, but what's been kind of holding me back is that I've been trying to do everything every step of the way like really easy and minimal tools so that it would be as accessible to as many people as I possibly could. But this is just taking way too long. I really got to figure something out. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. Hi, I figured it out. I just welded some flat bar on both sides of a 2-inch steel ring. I drilled holes in the ends to accommodate the bolts. I did this too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But then I bent the ends of the steel up so that it would lay perfectly flat on the end of the aluminum pipe. I finished it all off with more of that good thick heat shrink tubing on there. Stuff was a freaking bear to get on. The alcohol actually made it harder, made it more difficult. It seemed to make the adhesive on the inside kind of tacky. Dish soap was the way to go. There was a teeny tiny little bit of a gap when it was finished, so I was able to spray a hose in there and wash that soap out before I shrunk the tubing. But yeah, then I finished it off with this nice little paracord wrap. The technique here is the exact same as serving the bowstring, just in a circle and bigger. So yeah, there's a string stopper. Works perfect, no hand slaps. Like I said, we'll talk about this in a second. I'm praying for at least 170. With these crazy sluggish bands, I think I'd be greedy to ask for anything more than that. Oh. All right, so I got no band slaps, but it did slip off the string stopper. I don't know if there's any way to prevent that. Hi, that's what this was for. I swapped out the 5-inch bolt for a 6-inch bolt. I didn't have to alter the string stopper at all because the pipe here is what determines the distance from the string stopper to the riser, not the bolt. But with the extra length coming out of the end, I used one of these coupling nuts instead of just a regular nut to eat up some of that length. And then with maybe like 1/2 inch sticking out, I put one of these rubber stoppers on the end just to protect the bands a little bit. And basically, this just prevents the bands from jumping over the side when you shoot. Very simple solution. 163. Let's see if I can touch 170 with like a maximum overdraw. Nice. 174. Thank you, Lord. Let's see how fast it shoots with like a realistic draw. Because if I'm actually shooting this thing, I'm not going to be like pulling behind my head like that. Nice realistic shot, pulled back to the cheek. Let's see what it does. 138. I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun. Ooh, but it just doesn't come anywhere close to my hybrid hunter. 149. You gotta appreciate it for what it is though. It's so funny that this actually works. It's so cool. By the way, somebody brought up the creaking of the rubber on the hybrid hunter video. They were saying that would probably be an issue for like deer hunting, for example, because it would alert the deer. The creaking is caused by residual alcohol left inside the tubes from the making process, but that actually evaporates in about a day. I mean, you can hear the difference between just yesterday and they literally don't make any noise anymore. So in case you were wondering about that, it's really not an issue. So then I was real excited. I had this big reveal where I was gonna show that I had bought a whole entire set of those tapered speed bands from Rat King, whatever. I mean, they went on like a dream because I actually had access to the ends of the bands to pull through the little hole. But once I actually shot them, 143. Are you kidding me? Basically no different. In fact, 172. no different. I mean, they advertise right on the front of the box, 30% easier to draw, which literally just means 30% less draw weight. I actually do think if you had some teeny tiny, almost weightless projectiles, like the little clay balls or even like a small BB, I think it actually would be faster, but for an actual substantial projectile like an arrow, that trade-off of draw weight for speed pretty much perfectly evened out, and the yellow bands were just about exactly the same speed as the tapered speed bands, which of course is disappointing because you wanted to see something really cool with the advanced bands, but it's also kind of cool to know that there's literally no point in upgrading. You can just buy the cheapest Slingshot that they have there, and it's gonna function just as well as the more expensive $35 Slingshot that they have there, at least as far as sling bows go. But yeah, I wanted more. I think it's time to get some real bands on here. Let's go Theraband Black. All right, Theraband Black. I really should have some glasses on. Yeah. Having kids changes you up for sure. You kind of start to realize these are the only eyes I get to watch my kids grow up. Ooh, 158, and that's the usable draw. I'll get one more usable draw, and then I'm gonna start overdrawing. Hey, 160. Oh, 186. All right, we're gonna see what kind of accuracy, if any at all, this thing can provide at 20 yards. And if this gives me any courage, I'll go ahead and move the camera down there so you guys can get Dero vision, I guess Fisho vision. I'm gonna shoot my crusty arrow first in case this just whiffs by a mile. I'm just gonna shoot true, not adjusting for anything at all. She definitely goes, not too bad at all. I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared to shoot a $10 arrow. Okay, low is better than high. Woo! Looks like we're getting Dero vision after all. That's pretty cool. Really bad grouping. Obviously no experience with this thing, but that's pretty cool. 20 yards. So in case you guys don't understand Dero vision, basically, I put my, what's this called? Lab mic, I'm pretty sure, onto the target, and I leave the camera out here so that you can get the full heartwarming experience of what it's like to be shot at. Because when I'm standing down there with the microphone on my shirt and I'm shooting, the arrow actually sounds a lot slower. You think about it, you hear the snap of the bow firing immediately, but then the arrow has to travel all the way down range, hit the target, and then the sound has to come all the way back before you guys hear it. So it sounds really slow, but you'll get the experience here of what it actually feels like to be standing there when an arrow's coming at you. Just hope I can get this in focus. It's so bright out here, I can't even see the screen. All right, getting a little more used to it. These three are decent. 50% in the dinner plate at 20 yards. Alrighty, in summary, freaking works. Almost as good as a regular bow, just a third the size. This, I think, is gonna be absolutely awesome for bow fishing, which I'm going to do at the end of the month, and you know I'm taking you guys with me. Come on. I just got a GoPro, or not a GoPro, some other thing like a GoPro. It's better apparently. GoPro apparently fell off, I guess. They passed the company off to like some Nepo baby. I don't really know what's happening there, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. Not the Nepo baby, the bow fishing. I will say I am excited also to get the regular limbs back on here. For the 2 seconds I shot this thing, it was a lot of fun. Very smooth shooting bow. It's really amazing what you can get for like a little over $100 these days. Alrighty, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.